Alright, so what we're doing today is we're going to build a bookshelf. It's kind of this like square thing, comes in like this, weird looking. I got the idea from Matthew Peach on YouTube, and I'm going to give it a try myself today. This is my shop over here. First things first, what we got to do is some cleanup. This place is an absolute mess right now, so we'll get started on some cleanup and I'll get right back to you guys. So I got some standard pine 1x10s. I have a 10-footer and an 8-footer. The first step we're going to do is cut them all up into 14-inch chunks. We need 10 14-inch chunks. First things first, we're going to take off that factory edge. These all, you kind of know these all have bad edges on them. So we're going to just chop 1/8 of an inch or so off. Alright, so we got 10 of those cut up at 14 inches. The next step is we're going to cut up 3 of them at 7 3/4 inches long, and then 3 of them at 7 inches long. Alright, so that makes up the gist of the bookshelf. What we're going to have to do now is sand these down and then get them stained up. So let's head over to that and get some sanding done. Alright, so we're going to get all these boards sanded down here. And probably start out, they're pretty smooth already, so I'm probably going to start out at a 120. And then go down to a 220 for every board. So we'll get these sanded up and off to stand. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put pocket holes now. That's what I'm going to use, pocket holes and glues for joinery here. We're going to put 2 holes, 1, 2, in one end of every single one of these boards except for the 7 3/4. The 7 3/4 we're not putting any pocket holes in. I know some people have the nicer clamps and like the big fold-in clamps for Craig jigs. Oh, I got this little thing for right now. If that's all you got, it works too. I think they're like 15 bucks at Lowe's. They're pretty cheap, but it works for now. I think you're supposed to clamp these down. I just hold it with my hand. It's kind of always worked so far for me. I'm sure when I eventually put a hole in my hand, I'll probably switch and get a nicer actual Craig jig mount. But for now, this works for me. That's kind of one of the name of the games here in woodworking. Is it's not necessarily always a right way or wrong way to do something. It's just kind of however you can get it to work for yourself. I like to use these. You can kind of find these at Menards or any really Lowe's or big box store you go to. But these are just little grips. You set them down and it kind of helps you, when you're sanding, you end up getting a lot of dents on one side of the board because of all the wood chips and whatnot on your actual desk. So you put them on these and it kind of just holds it in place real well. It's good for sanding. I think it's going to work out pretty good for these pocket holes too. Next step here, what we're going to do is actually stain these boards. I'm going to do like kind of a dual color, this dark stain top, go every other with it, so we'll go dark and then to this honey stain right here. I've never used this true black before, so I'm kind of excited to give this a shot, so let's do it. Holy cow. True black it is. Sure you wipe off that excess. I like to put kind of a thicker layer on and then wipe it off after. I am excited to see the comments. I know I'm pretty beginner woodworker here. You're supposed to stain with the grain and then whatnot and all that. So I am kind of interested to see what you guys have to say about my woodworking styles in the comment section. But so I'm actually going to do this like a multicolored throughout. And the other stain I'm going to use is honey. I use this kind of for a lot of it's a pretty popular one in my shop. I use it for all my sectionals and my outdoor furniture I build. You got these pocket holes, right? And those are going to be sticking out. What I've been doing is you can buy these cheap little brushes. I think they're like $1 for like a 20 pack of these at Harbor Freight. But you dip that into the stain a little bit, and you can stick it in them holes, and you can fill that gap in pretty well where the pocket holes are. I do it first because you're going to get a little bit of extra on the sides, and then you'll be able to wipe that off when you actually go to put the full stain on. So I'll show you what that looks like here. Cover this. So this is that honey. It's just a beautiful stain. I use it all the time. I just love how it turns out every time. Alright, so the next step here, what we're going to do is we need the legs. So what I'm doing with the legs is these were just 2x4s. I cut them up into 1 3/8 by 1 3/8 square. And what we're going to do is on one side we're going to put a 30-degree. We'll take one of these. On one side we're going to put a 30-degree angle, and the other side we're going to put a 15-degree angle. Your 30 is going to hook up to your box, and your 15 is going to be what touches the floor. So we'll cut that right now. Your 30 and 15. Got all these cut up, 30 and 15. So when you got your box sitting up at an angle like this, you have your 15 this way and your 30 holding the box. Alright, for the top piece, what we're going to do here, this is going to be the top box. So remember, we only put 2 holes on one end, all the boards except for the 7 3/4. What we're going to do is take the 14-inch, line up your basically non-pocket hold ends to your pocket hold ends. I'm going to screw it in just like that. What we're going to do is overlap. So you're going to overlap there, and then this next one's going to sit on top there like that, and they'll all overlap like that to make a perfect square. So let me get these screwed in, I'll show you guys what I mean. Alright, so you can see it starting to take shape here. This is going to be our 7 3/4. The 3/4 is right here, right? And then you got your 7-inch board right here, which is going to sit on top of your 14-inch, and that's going to make this gap 7 inches, and then this gap here 7 inches. Over here we got our box. This is going to be that top piece, right? So this middle one here is going to sit, so that one's going to sit basically like that, and then this one's going to come on right on top of it just like that, and you can see it kind of starting its way. So let me get the rest of these put together, and then I'll show you how to put the legs on. Alright, so we're attaching legs here. I already drilled the holes, so I'm going to explain to you guys kind of what's going on here. So we measured in from the edge here 6.5. 6.5 there, and then same thing on that side. So we're going 3/8 to the first one, and then about 1 inch to the second one. We'll put 2 screws in each leg. So that's going to be our lineup for our legs. And then if you measure over 7 inches there, and you get down here 7 inches, that's our line right here. These are our pre-drilled holes on the other side, right? So here's our 7 inches across from here to here, from the inside to there, 7 inches. And what that'll be is the lineup for our legs will sit right up against that line right there, that 7-inch line. Alright, so here it is with the legs attached. We got them all in, and the next step here is going to be stacking the rest of the boxes up. Alright, so for this next part, we got the legs attached. Now we're attaching the rest of these boxes all the way up. What I did here was go in and I measured 6 3/8 in and drew a line across, pre-drilled my holes, and now those are going to line up right with here. So we'll screw those in. We got one on each side there, and then we'll stack the rest of them up. I'll show you how it goes. Alright, so once you get it all put together, this is kind of how mine turned out. You know, you can go any colorway you want with this. What I'm going to do is put some wood putty in here. They make stainable wood putty, so you can fill those in and then sand them off a little bit, and then you can stain it with the same stain you used on these. So that's the last step. I'm not gonna do that today, but yeah, so I'm gonna go home and throw some stuff on this and see how the old lady likes it.